What do all successful immigrants have in common?
Based on our experience, there are at least 5 distinct traits that we see in the most successful immigrants that we meet. And if you ask me, I think these qualities are fundamental to any kind of success in life.
So let's look at examples of successful people and reveal the qualities they have. Let's go!
Okay, so imagine you're making some of the biggest decisions of your life, like what career to have or what program to study. Or in our case, whether you should move to a new country. What do you do to make that decision?
You do your research. Where to live, what opportunities exist, how to find a job, where to find cheap rent, and how to cut corners.
You're moving to a new country, so you can't just move without really understanding what to expect. We even have this saying in Russia, if you're informed, you're armed. Which means that being informed when facing a challenge is the same as going to war with full gear. It increases your odds of success. We're against war, but nevertheless, we really like this metaphor.
My favorite saying is prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. And this philosophy really helped me in life. When I was moving to Canada, I did a lot of homework. And that helped me to find accommodation really fast, get landlord referrals, and land a job within my first months in Canada. Successful newcomers talk to everyone, they look everywhere, they understand clearly that where some people fail, others succeed.
They know what can go wrong and the risk where possible. They are ready to struggle, and by just merely doing that, they are already increasing their odds of success once in Canada. Last year, I've met a newcomer, let's say his name is Boris. He moved to Canada during COVID, the worst time to move to Canada. He has a background in finance, building machine learning models for the banking industry. He couldn't network, clearly because of lockdowns. All he had was LinkedIn. Can you guess what he did? He spent a month sending over 1,000 LinkedIn connections, pitching himself. 300 responded or so, and only 15 agreed to have a video call with him for a chat. And only 4 actually showed up for a chat. And only one of those coffee chats turned into a job referral. He received hundreds of rejections or was simply ignored or, even worse, stood up. He didn't give up and he kept pushing forward until he joined that one single coffee chat that practically landed him a job at one of the largest banks in Canada.
The key to success here is perseverance. If you've ever been called stubborn, first, gently tap the like button below. Let's see how many of us are determined here. And second, you will likely succeed in Canada. The most successful newcomers don't let failure deter them from keeping going.
And they don't take no for an answer. They are relentless in their pursuit of a better life, refusing to let anything or anyone stand in their way.
In Canada, perseverance is a necessity.
So we know Boris succeeded in landing a job. Was it because he knew exactly what message to send or who exactly to connect with on LinkedIn?
Of course not. He treated every single interaction or ignored response as an opportunity to learn.
And he also attended networking events, like the one where him and I met. He was resourceful, and that's an absolute must quality for anyone who wants to be successful.
We hear this often from newcomers. I've been sent in hundreds of resumes and not getting any responses. We often ask in return, what have you learned about what doesn't work with your approach? And the response we get is, I don't know, Canadian employers want Canadian experience.
And that's the kind of attitude we recommend to stop, right here, right now. Instead of doing the same thing over and over again, ask yourself, what could I be doing differently?
And is there something new that I could try?
Continuous improvement and seeking feedback are the best ways to distinguish yourself from the pack and get ahead.
This not only differentiates you, but emphatically showcases your capacity to think outside of the box. A trait that is highly praised across all industries.
I took an Uber recently and met a guy from Afghanistan. He has recently graduated from software engineering program here in Toronto. And guess what? He has been using Uber driving as a way to network with people. How cool is that? And guess what? He actually did end up landing in temporary part-time contract with one of his riders. Of course, there were a few other riders who promised they'd help but never really followed up. But what he really needed is that one single contract to start getting that pesky Canadian experience and making more.
Being resourceful is a powerful skill to have. If you're a student, ask your professor for feedback on your resume. Find an online networking event on LinkedIn and attend it. Talk to a stranger next time you're at the gym. Networking is your friend. Just don't impose yourself too much. Read the room. And if you see the other person doesn't reciprocate, just don't push.
There's another thing that I observed talking to many newcomers, and that's the quality that may be frowned upon in some cultures, while fundamental in some others. Nonetheless, I think it's key to the modern capitalistic society, and when you're a newcomer, this quality is absolutely essential in achieving success in Canada. One of my closest friends, Tony, came to Canada alone and very quickly realized that his marketing degree from his country was worth nothing. Absolutely everyone in Canada chooses to study marketing because it's perceived easy, so there are too many native English speakers with a deep understanding of Canadian mentality that are in line for this job. Anyways, he's a big bulky guy, so he started working as a mover and decided to go back to school to get another, more in-demand bachelor's degree. He ended up graduating with distinction, was on the dean's list, he built connections and now teaches at university and works for the United Nations.
So what helped him succeed, you wonder? Being competitive.
He was absolutely hopelessly competitive, to the point where he'd be like a bullet train, not stopping until he gets an A+, attending all office hours with teachers, and redoing assignments until he gets it right. When there was a group project, he'd screen for the best classmates and try to talk them into joining him in a group. He wouldn't compromise. He wouldn't tolerate coming in second. He was extremely competitive. It would get super ridiculous sometimes.
But it worked, right? The teachers noticed. He's built good relationship with them, so they offered him teaching assistant opportunities. They also offered him scholarships to get a master's degree as well. Eventually, he was invited to teach the same classes that he was attending just a few years prior.
Being competitive means that you want to do everything faster, better, and bigger. Being competitive is not pushing someone down to get a promotion. It's not talking badly about your coworkers behind their back. No, that's in fact a guaranteed recipe for failing.
Being competitive is about continuously raising your standards and the standards of people around you. It's being the example, and when you do that, others notice. Others also want to follow you, and that's how you build influence and reputation.
There's another thing that set Tony apart, and it's also something that our friend Natalia talked about in her recent interview with her. Make sure to listen to how she found success in Canada as an international student. We're gonna leave the link somewhere below.
Natalia shared with us her experience of networking and taking on a job she felt underqualified for. But despite her fears and insecurities, she didn't give up.
Similarly, Tony sought meetings with professors and additional coursework.
What they have in common is that they put themselves out there. If you put yourself out there, you're drastically increasing your chances of success too.
That's how I think I succeeded, and I want to share this story with you. When I was at university, I said yes to everything. Helping friends with their business projects, joining student associations, helping organize events. And it was too much at some point, but it was also fun. I created value for others, and that in turn helped me build reputation, meet new people, and most importantly, gain experience. One of the projects I said yes to was building some marketing material for a conference my student association was organizing. My first degree is in design, so it was fun for me. I knew how to create social media posts, booklets, designs, logos, and so on. I also helped set up a website to promote that event. So when I was applying for internships for my very first product manager job, I listed that marketing experience on my resume. And guess what? The hiring manager specifically looked for someone with marketing and design ability, so it happened to be a perfect match. I passed 4 interviews, including a case study, and landed my first career job at one of the world's largest automotive AI technology companies that is now part of Microsoft.
You've got to take risks and be open to opportunities. Step out of your comfort zone. I still remember Natalia's story. She put herself out there despite feeling uncomfortable, and with each networking event she learned something new and ultimately felt more confident step by step. And that's what helped her start her own successful practice, get a teaching position, and now launch her own tech startup.
These are just few from hundreds of other immigrant stories that we've shared today. Do you know a newcomer in Canada that you look up to?
Share your stories or stories of people you know. Let's help more newcomers succeed in Canada faster.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you want to support us, you can use our Patreon link. It helps us invest into better quality videos for you guys. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe to our channel not to miss any videos.
We also launched our YouTube membership, so make sure to join. And in the meantime, check out this interview with Natalia about cost of living in Toronto, finding her first job as an international student, and launching her own business.
We will see you in the next one.
Take care!